Should you leave your relationship if you don't have feelings for the other person? So I'm Dwight.
And I'm Jeanette.
And we've been married for almost 30 years here. And this topic came up in one of our videos, and we thought it was intriguing. Kofi Malcolm, thank you. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of what you're saying. You're basically saying that this generation is addicted to that feeling part. And if they don't have it, they're out of the relationship, even though the person is doing the right things. We really appreciate that comment. And we wanted to talk a little bit about that and give our thoughts on that. And when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about it in the context of dating and marriage. And we'll first talk about dating. So say you're dating someone and your feelings just kind of go away. They kind of wither away. And Jeanette and I were talking about it, and we both felt that it could be a sign that may not be the person for you.
Yeah.
And maybe we're a bit biased because in our relationship, when we first started dating, we honestly were waiting for the kind of, I guess, the love or feelings to drop off. And it never did. It just kept on growing and growing and growing.
That was amazing to me.
Yeah, I really would be curious if other people have had that experience when you married, I guess, so-called the one or felt the right person. If you had that experience where your love was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that was our case.
Yeah.
So our thoughts was maybe have to evaluate, communicate with that person, and maybe a time where you think about maybe you just be friends. And you know what? The things happen in different seasons. Maybe that season is not the right time, and things could be different later. But just our thoughts on that. So dating could be a bit different. Now, when you're married, you're already gone. You know, you love each other. We hopefully, right?
Yeah, we should.
We just say ideally, right? You love each other. You've had these strong feelings. You get married. You go through that honeymoon part, and then you kind of get settled into that marriage routine there.
Yeah.
And we thought about, okay, what could cause the feelings to kind of die down in a marriage? And we give you some thoughts here. First one, of course, is unresolved conflict. Unresolved conflict is probably one of the things that would kill a lot of marriages. If there's something going on in the marriage and you're not able to work through it and it just keeps on coming up and coming up and coming up.
That's called holding a grudge.
Right. That could drive anyone away. I mean, it could make anything unpleasant, and that could definitely stifle a lot of feelings or a lot of things in a relationship. So that's one thing to think about. Do you have unresolved conflict in your marriage?
Yeah.
Another thing is, and you know, this is something that probably happens a lot, is, you know, two people are working, you're both busy, you have kids. Where do you find time for each other? You're not spending time.
You got to make time.
Right, and the marriage just kind of withers away, it kind of dies down, right? Because you're not together, you're not doing a lot of things together, you're just going through life, it's all the routine, you get up.
Busy schedule.
Right, get up, get in the car, go to the office. Nowadays, some of us, we're still at home. We get up, we sit at our desk at home, but it's still a routine.
Working.
Right, and you know, you don't carve out that time for your spouse. So that's another thing that could definitely stifle the feelings or love in a relationship, and that's something that you always have to watch out for.
Yeah.
This next point is a big one. When you're addicted to newness.
Yeah.
Right. So
can you relate?
Yeah, you love this person. So, you know, right now we're in this older van we have right now. We've had it for a while, and a couple of times we've traveled, and we rented the newer van. A newer, and we were like, wow, this van is so nice. It has all these features our old car doesn't have. It's like we want to just take this old van and just dump it into the water and take the new van. You know, we don't want to do anything to do with this old van.
But our old van is still good. It's still running good.
Exactly.
Nothing's wrong with it.
It is taking us from point A to point B. We have very few problems with this van.
If it ain't broke.
Right. And we may get the newer van and there's more issues, right? That things happen with it. Even though it's newer, it doesn't mean things can still happen.
But you don't know it that well either.
Right.
It's new.
So we kind of take the old man for granted, and that could happen in a relationship where you just want the newest thing, or you may see the newest thing. Hello, right? Let's be honest. You see someone somewhere. Wow, this person is better than my wife or my husband. They're nicer. They're kind. Whatever. But you're just seeing a facade, right?
Yes.
You don't see the full. You don't go home to that person and realize,
know the real person,
right? That there's some serious issues there with that person. So that's one thing that could definitely get you distracted and basically taking what you have for granted, because your spouse is the one who's been there with you through difficult times, cried with you, supported you, sacrificed for you, loved you, done all these things for you, and you kind of take that for granted because something newer looks nice out there. So that's another thing that could really cause you to lose your feelings and really get you into a bad situation.
Yeah.
Another point is when you neglect your spouse, right? Their needs. And it's all about you. You're not feeling the love, so you kind of withhold yourself. What about, even if you're not feeling the love, you go out of your way to do the best you can do for your spouse.
Yeah.
You go even extra. You probably need to do extra. If you're not feeling it, you need to do more.
Right.
And realize, wow, this person has done so much for me. I'm going to do so much for this person.
Yeah.
Even though I don't feel like it, I don't want to do it. I'm going to go past that feelings, the flesh, what you feel in your flesh, and just show them love. Yeah, and that could be something that could really turn things around in your relationship as well.
You just made me think about how people volunteer their time and everything to do things for others. When they lift others up, when they bring joy to others, they themselves feel joy. And I believe there's a secret to that. The more you give, the more is given to you in terms of joy and happiness. So sometimes people who are not so happy themselves, they find that when they give to others, when they volunteer and do things for others, they get some sense of satisfaction. They get a sense of joy in giving to others. So you should apply the same principle to your spouse.
Right. And we'll be real. We've been married for a while. We've gone through periods where feelings were not there or something was going on in our relationship. So this can easily happen to any marriage or relationship. So let's give some solutions. All right. What do? We went through some possible causes. Biggest one is to stay committed. And I can't say this enough. I'm looking back now. I'm sure we both agree. We're thankful we're still married. We fought through some battles. We fought through some hard times.
There is a reward for faithfulness.
There definitely is. We're in a greater level now because we have stuck it out. We didn't throw in the towel when we might have felt like it.
You got to go through the growing pains.
Right. And you got to remember that feelings. Second point, feelings come and go. That's reality. And even now, we can, we have strong feelings for each other still. There may be a time where we may not. I mean, recently I had a significant death in my family, and that was a difficult time for me, where I was just kind of processing that. So I was going through all kinds of emotions and feelings. So there could be a lot of things happening in your life too that can really throw you off. But you just stay the course there.
Yeah, and you kind of got to remember that feelings are like roller coaster. With roller coasters, we have highs and we have lows. And, in the lows, you may not feel so great, but when you're on the high, you feel great. And that's just part of the journey. There are highs and lows in marriage. There are highs and lows in life.
So another point is to communicate. Be honest with your spouse, how you're feeling. Hopefully you build that communication so you can have these kind of conversations with them, to be honest and share. And sometimes talking through things, you kind of listen to yourself talking. You're like, wow, that kind of sounds kind of off, right?
Yeah.
I really don't have feelings for this person. This person has done X, Y, and Z for me. And you kind of reckon with yourself talking through it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you can do to kind of work through it. So we hope this video was helpful. Don't feel alone if your feelings, have died down. Our encouragement more than anything from us would be stay the course. Don't give up. Work through it. There is definitely hope for you, and there's great days for you ahead.
Oh yeah, it gets better. Like
Absolutely.
fine wine.
Well, thank you so much.
Just with time.
All right.